What if the capitalism we know is on the brink of extinction to be replaced by a new order, a techno-feudalism? Could it be that the very system that has driven progress and wealth creation for centuries is sowing the seeds of its own destruction? It's a provocative thought, isn't it? The answer lies in a hidden contradiction within capitalism itself, the tendency for the rate of population to fall. As societies become wealthier, their birth rates decrease. This decrease in birth rates leads to an aging population and a smaller workforce, which in turn slows down economic growth. It's a paradox, isn't it? The more wealth we accumulate, the fewer people there are to enjoy it and to fuel future growth. This isn't just a theory. Data gathered from 43 countries over half a century shows a clear negative correlation between per capita GDP and total fertility rate. From the bustling cities of Japan to the rolling hills of Italy, the pattern holds true. As countries become wealthier, birth rates fall. There are exceptions, of course, such as countries with large traditional religious communities where birth rates remain high. But these are the exceptions that prove the rule. What about immigration, I hear you ask? Can't we just import younger workers to replace our aging population? It's a fair question, but it's not a complete solution. While immigration can help prevent an absolute decline in population, it does not solve the problem of an aging population. The demographic time bomb is still ticking. So, where does this leave us? If the correlation between wealth accumulation and declining fertility rates continues, capitalism could ultimately undermine itself. The wealthier we become, the fewer workers there are to drive economic growth. And without growth, the capitalist system cannot survive. We are facing a future where capitalism might ultimately undermine itself, laying the groundwork for a new order. But what will this new order look like? And who will be the winners and losers in this brave new world? We'll explore these questions and more in the next scene. In the midst of this downfall, technology stands as the knight in shining armor, or perhaps the harbinger of a new feudal era. The role of technology in the evolution of capitalism into techno-feudalism is undeniably significant. Since the financial crisis of 2008, the economic landscape has transformed drastically, with capitalism heavily relying on constant injections of money from central banks. But where does technology fit into this? Well, let's take a step back. The very essence of capitalism is driven by profit and market exploitation. However, this dependence on central bank money has replaced the need for private profits. In this new order, power has been transferred from those who used to control the markets to those who control the technology. The new techno-lords, if you will. Enter techno-feudalism, a term coined to describe this new economic order. As the name suggests, it's a fusion of technology and feudalism. The technological advancements we've witnessed over the past decades have been nothing short of revolutionary. But every revolution has its winners and losers. In this case, the winners are those who control the technology, the data, and the algorithms. And the losers? Well, that's most of us. In this techno-feudal society, technology moguls and central banks hold the reins of power, while the rest of us are left to navigate the digital landscape they've created. We've traded our data for convenience, unknowingly signing away our digital rights. It's no longer about who owns the land, but who controls the data. And as we've seen, data is power. So what does this mean for the future of our society? Well, in many ways, we're already living in this techno-feudal era. Technology is deeply intertwined with every aspect of our lives, from how we work, to how we communicate, to how we make decisions. But as we become more dependent on technology, we must ask ourselves, who really holds the power in this digital age? The future isn't just digital, it's feudal. Behind this transformation, there are puppet masters pulling the strings, the tech moguls like Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, and Bill Gates. Their influence and control over technology and data is undeniable, and it's this power that places them at the heart of techno-feudalism's rise. Let's start with Elon Musk, the man behind Tesla and SpaceX. His ventures in electric cars and space travel are groundbreaking, yes, but they also concentrate power and resources in his hands. By controlling the means of future transportation and exploration, Musk effectively becomes a gatekeeper of the future, a modern-day lord of his techno manor. Then we have Mark Zuckerberg, the mastermind of Facebook, now Meta. With billions of users worldwide, he has unparalleled access to data and information. It's not just about social connections anymore, it's about control. The virtual realm of the metaverse, his latest venture, is a clear move towards further consolidating this control. It's his vision of the future, a future where he reigns supreme. And let's not forget Bill Gates, the pioneer of this new age. Through Microsoft, he's embedded himself into the fabric of our digital lives. But his influence goes beyond software. His investments in biotechnology, agriculture and climate solutions, while seemingly benevolent, also serve to extend his reach. He's not just shaping our digital future, but our physical world too. So what do these three have in common? They're all tech tycoons, yes, but it's more than that. They're visionaries, pioneers, but also controllers. They hold the keys to the future, a future they're shaping according to their own designs. They're not just participating in the economy, they're molding it, steering it, dominating it. In this new age of techno-feudalism, these men aren't just successful entrepreneurs. They're the new lords of the realm, the masters of the digital manor. They control the resources, the data, the technology, and by extension, they control us. In the game of power, these tech moguls are the new feudal lords. So, what does a future under techno-feudalism look like? Picture a world where our daily lives are controlled not by elected officials, but by technology moguls and central banks. A world where these entities hold immense power, and we, the common people, are at their mercy. In this future, privacy might become a relic of the past. Every interaction, every transaction, every movement could be monitored, stored and analyzed. This data could be used to predict our behavior, manipulate our choices and control our lives. We could become mere data points in a massive algorithm, our lives dictated by lines of code. Economic inequality could also be exacerbated under techno-feudalism. As technology moguls amass more wealth and power, the gap between the haves and the have-nots could widen even further. The economic ladder, already slippery and steep, might become nearly impossible to climb. The wealth of the world could be concentrated in the hands of a few, while the rest of us struggle to make ends meet. And what of our rights and freedoms? Under techno-feudalism, these could be curtailed or even eradicated. The notion of democracy could be replaced by a technocratic oligarchy, where decisions are made not by the people but by a select few. The voice of the common man could be drowned out by the hum of servers and the clatter of keyboards. In this new order, we might be the subjects, not citizens. Our lives could be dictated by technology moguls and central banks, our freedoms curtailed, our privacy invaded. But is this future inevitable, or can we still shape the course of our destiny? The answer, my friends, lies in our hands. For the future is not something that happens to us, it is something we create. And in this new world order, we must be the architects of our own future. The future isn't set in stone, it's a battleground where different ideologies clash. In the face of this impending wave of techno-feudalism, we may wonder, what can be done? Are we doomed to be serfs to the techno-lords, or are there alternatives we can explore? One possible solution is government intervention. If the unchecked accumulation of wealth and power by a few is what's driving us towards techno-feudalism, then perhaps governments can play a role in regulating this. They could enforce antitrust laws more rigorously, break up tech monopolies, and ensure fair competition. Governments could also implement policies to promote income and wealth equality, such as progressive taxation and universal basic income. But government intervention is not without its challenges. It requires political will and public support, both of which can be hard to muster in today's polarized world. Moreover, governments themselves can be susceptible to corruption and misuse of power. So, while government intervention may be part of the solution, it's not a panacea. Another potential solution is pro-natalist policies. If the declining birth rates and aging population are a significant concern, then policies that encourage people to have more children could help. These could include financial incentives for having children, more generous parental leave policies, and better childcare support. However, pro-natalist policies also come with their own set of challenges. They can be expensive to implement, and they may not be effective if the underlying social and economic factors that discourage people from having children aren't addressed. Moreover, they raise ethical questions about the government's role in people's reproductive choices. Finally, there's the idea of a religious revival. As we've seen, religious groups tend to have higher birth rates. Could a resurgence of religious values and practices help counteract the demographic trends that are driving us towards techno-feudalism? Possibly, but it's a complex and controversial proposition, to say the least. Regardless of the solutions we consider, it's clear that the path towards techno-feudalism is not inevitable. It's a path that's being shaped by economic, social, and political forces that we can influence and change. The future isn't inevitable, it's what we make of it. As we stand on the brink of a new era, remember, we have a say in shaping it. The question is, will we?